I have a great idea, but I'll never do it. It might happen. Sure, the monkeys might fly out of my butt. I don't think so.
I don't see it happening.
Hey, it's me, Jon.
And me, Louise.
And this is the greatest podcast in the world about the great ideas that we have that we're never going to do. Louise, how's your mind working lately? What's your brain like?
My brain was vacation brain. It's always mush. I have a tea-tot, and she is just ever growing and changing and throwing me curveballs. And so I feel like not exactly thriving, but certainly not surviving. Way better than that. Way better than that. My brain is ticking. Ticking. How's your brain?
Awesome. My brain is, wet and squishy, and, I think it's kind of doing what it needs to do, but I don't know. I feel like I've had an influx of great ideas just in the past, couple of weeks, but we'll
excited.
see. You be the judge of that.
Okay.
But first I got to acknowledge everybody, the day we're recording this, well, I guess the week we're recording this is, it marks 23 years that Louise and I have been super buds. So what a special week it is for us. We can never remember the exact day, but it's the beginning of September. Yeah.
Friendiversary. Happy Friendiversary.
Oh, right back at you. It's been a real joy
Sigma
this
Dorka
past
Chi.
23 years. That won't mean anything to anybody except for Dan Tane. Dan Tane, if you're listening, hey, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, buddy.
We did reconnect with Dan Tane briefly, which was the reason why we started this podcast, was to maybe get his attention. And
Truly.
he's out there. He's doing his thing and thriving, and we're happy for him. So, but here we are. Louise, would you like me to start off with an idea?
Do it up. Let's get right down to the brass tacks.
Okay. I'm going to give you a few topic suggestions, okay?
Okay.
Software / AI. I guess tactile tech accessory, television show / podcast, or social experiment.
Okay. I'm going to say AI tech because I, too, have an idea for that.
All right, cool.
I know. It will be a segue.
All right, so this is something that I feel is very likely doable, and I have full faith in our listeners to make this happen because it doesn't seem that difficult to do if you know how to write script and things like that. So, Louise, have you ever gotten an email and it's been a little confusing because there's things that seem like they're coded in the good news territory, but then there's actually bad news, and it's trying to mix types of information all in one?
Yeah.
Yes, you're nodding.
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
I've received an email like that.
And there should be an email plugin, or a plugin that goes to Gmail or whatever, software you're using, that can reorganize the email into good news and bad news. And when you open up the email, you only see a selection, like 2 buttons. And it says, would you like to cut to the bad news, or do you want to know the good news? And it sorts out the email for you and organizes it in such a way. Would that be helpful for you?
I think it would. And a lot of the times it's because some emails I receive are long and, dare say, too long, didn't read. I need to see the thing, but I only have 10 seconds as I'm stopped at, on a dog walk waiting for Roland to poop before I pick up the dog poop. So it's I want to get the information, but I don't have the time to read the novel that's come to me. So just give it to me quick, and I'll mark it as unread if I need to go back to it later. If not, let's move along.
Yeah.
It'd be really helpful if I could be like, ooh, what's this like family email that just got sent out to everybody? Like worth it, or, you know, not like worth it, but can I devour this information in the time slot allotted?
Yeah. Is this a now thing?
A now thing?
That's the question. Is this a thing for now?
Right.
Or is this a thing for later?
Right. Yeah, I would use this extension. I would just like see how it went. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Why not? Yeah. But you said that you have some sort of AI type thing. I want to know what that is.
Okay, my idea, it's a real quick thing, and I'm torn on what I like about it for AI or not, because I happen to be a performer and I want the performers to be paid for their time. But have you ever been listening to an audiobook and been like, this book is on my list of books. I don't really have, you know, the library doesn't have the hard copy of it, or I'm actually reading a hard copy of a different book that I actually do want to continue with the hard copy, but I also want to listen to this, but this narrator is not doing it for me. If there could be like a little toggle, like dink, new voice.
Right.
Like new performer.
I like it.
If that could be a thing, that would be great.
That makes a lot of sense to me.
Because sometimes I consume an audiobook and I am in it to win it way more than I thought I was going to be, because the narration is just so out of control good. And then there have been other times where I'm like, ugh, I really need to get through this book because I need to read it for XYZ, but ugh. That's it. I don't have a title. I don't have a solution to people getting paid for that, but
no, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, it seems like it's totally possible. I mean, I'd be surprised if it didn't exist in some way, but somebody needs to make it happen if it hasn't already happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One of the things that I should note is that I am not an audiobook listener. I have a hard time following along because usually if I'm listening to something, it's the type of thing where I'm able to kind of like do it while I'm doing other things. An audiobook, or a book, I need to be like, this is what I'm doing. And
what if it's a memoir?
If a memoir is a different situation, but it would have to be really captivating, because if it's only just one person talking at me the whole time, I kind of zone out a little bit. But for other situations, I don't know. It's like I just need to be completely in it. I'm either completely in it or I'm not in it at all. And for an audiobook, it's like if I need to be sitting still and like very actively paying attention, I may as well just be reading a book.
Yeah. I do a lot of audiobooks. And then it's my inner monologue
that's the voice.
Yeah. Interrupting it.
Yeah.
I do a lot of audiobooks on dog walks. Because sometimes I love a podcast, you know I do. But sometimes it's just nicer to have a longer format. And a book does it. And recently I plowed through Whoopi Goldberg's latest memoir about the death of her mom and her brother. And let me tell you how stinking enjoyable that was, read by the author. Because also, Whoopi is a performer. So she, not just knows what it's like to put a product out, even if the brand is yourself, but she's just so expressive. Whereas, if you're reading the memoir of a political candidate, it's going to be a little bit different, even though they have that same awareness. Anyway, can't say enough great things about Whoopi's. And then the immediate next audiobook I listened to, I was like, oh man, I miss Whoopi.
I think that the last audiobook I listened to, and it's been a long time, was Steve Martin's book, Born Standing Up. And
Okay.
Steve Martin, who he adds different things in the audiobook that are in like the book itself. So you get a little extra sauce with it. But it's
Nice.
funny you should mention Whoopi Goldberg, because I am about to be a guest on a podcast called Rediscovered Movies. That's all about, movies that kind of got like forgotten in time. And the movie that we're covering, and we're recording it soon. I hope that I'm not like, I don't know, breaking an NDA or something like that. But we're doing the movie Eddie, the 1996 Whoopi Goldberg movie, in which she plays a New York Knicks fan who becomes coach of the team.
Love it.
Does she talk about that in her memoir?
No, no.
How about her relationship with Frank Langella?
No.
Does she talk about that? No. Okay. Because that was like a 5-year relationship that started on the set of Eddie.
Nice. Okay.
Okay. See, that's good, because I need to know if I'm like missing out on any vital research I should be doing.
No, it's like I said, it's mostly about her processing the death of her mom and her brother.
Yeah.
And on face value, that's like, ugh, bah, 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 like mood buster. But because it's Whoopi, it's like, I just want, like, I was so sad it was so short. I wanted more Whoopi. And then consequently, the book I read, the audiobook I listened to right after that, I was like, ugh, I wish I could change this narrator, because it's like
just
how
not as... It's like with Waze and the way that you can have different celebrities giving you the directions.
Yes.
So there are so many different like AI models where if you get somebody to read a certain amount of words or a certain script, it can train the AI to say, like, the platform that we are recording this on, because I am the account holder, it can duplicate my voice if I type in a prompt. Like, here, we're going to do a little experiment, and we're going to see if we can plug this in later. So,
Okay.
Louise, why don't you say 2 or 3 sentences, and then I'm going to leave a little gap, and I'm going to insert what the AI says that's making me say it. Can you do that?
Okay, sure. Just like random sentences.
Just say whatever you want.
Okay. My daughter and my dog did one hella awesome cuddle over the long weekend, and my heart broke into a million pieces in the best possible way.
Perfect. Now I'm going to insert the AI of me saying that right now. My daughter and my dog did one hella awesome cuddle over the long weekend, and my heart broke into a million pieces in the best possible way. Okay. Because we're recording this and we can't listen to it. We don't know what that sounds like, but listeners, let us know what you think. greatideapod@gmail.com. How did it do?
304-804-IDEA. Oh, I'm excited for a post-production listen.
Oh my goodness. Yes. 304-804-IDEA. Call us. Let us know if you have great ideas, or if you want to have me put my AI voice into something you are saying on your voicemail. I don't know. That could be fun.
That could be fun.
Oh, okay, Louise. I like that. That's pretty neat. I like the idea of, switching it up a little bit, because if you have a bad narrator or somebody who has an inflection that rubs you the wrong way and takes you out of things, you can't come back from that.
No, it's hard. You got to really be committed.
Yeah. You got to really be committed. All right, Louise, would you like a social experiment, a podcast/TV show, or some sort of tech accessory?
A TV show.
Okay. This is one that I'm really excited about. So, do you know the reason, I just learned this recently, the reason why pirates historically have had eye patches?
Yeah, I do know that reason.
Blanks.
Do you want me to tell you?
Oh, yes, explain it.
Or what I think it is? Okay, so a pirate has an eye patch so that their eye can adjust to seeing in the dark without having to adjust. It's like if you've got like a candle and you're writing in the log or whatever, and somebody comes behind you, can quick do your eye patch so your eye doesn't have to shift between like lightness and darkness.
Yeah. Yeah, or if like you're on the deck and it's daytime and you need to go downstairs real quick, you have one eye that's already adjusted to the dark, so you can just switch the spots and you're good to go. You don't have to wait for your eye to adjust. So I'm sure there are so many other examples of this type of thing. I want a show about historical life hacks because that's such an awesome life hack.
Oh my gosh. Historical life hacks? I love it.
Yes. Yeah.
That is a great idea.
How fun would that be?
I want
there
somebody
could be
to
fun,
do that.
like there could be fun little reenactments. Oh, yes. Right?
So many different things like shoes, undergarments, like
there's a reason
eye
why we
patches.
have things the way they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
it.
would watch it or listen to it.
Yeah, same.
What would be better about like a TV show though is that you get like great fun reenactments and like acting out of things.
Yeah, and recently I have tried to watch. I haven't actually done the whole episode because I don't have that kind of undivided time. But I've tried to watch The Reluctant Traveler. Do you know this show? It's Eugene Levy.
Who's in that? Eugene Levy, right. I haven't watched it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I've been trying to watch it in like 10-minute chunks. But how great would it be if it was just, some kind of sweetheart telling us about hacks somewhere? Whether it's Snoop Dogg or, Catherine O'Hara. I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to think.
Well,
Wait,
you match up
O'Hara.
you match up like a comedian with a historian, and you have the historian kind of telling the story and the comedian riffing off of them. Yeah. That's how it's done. Now,
I like it.
I don't suppose you have an idea for a TV show or a podcast or something.
I don't. The closest I have to a TV show is Disney. Do you want to hear that idea?
Yeah, bring it.
All right, Disney, pick up this idea, friend, because I need it to be a thing. Okay, so I'm going to have sort of like a long-winded explanation of this journey, but come with me on it. I'll get to the idea.
I'm on board.
I just spent 2 weeks in New Hampshire with family. It was lovely. It was a lake. It was nice. Some family members brought these Mickey Mouse bubble wands. There's one button. You put the batteries in, there's one button, and it does lights and music and shoots the bubbles out. Okay. So I hoped there would be a way that you could unscrew the back of it, cut the sound cord, and then re-screw it back together so that the lights still worked and the bubbles still worked without the music, because it was like, 7 a.m. and this music was waking me up and making me crazy. And the music was very repetitive. It wasn't even like a Disney song that you could like sing along to in your head. It was just like kind of like it wasn't Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, but let's use that one. Like Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. And then it would loop that. So it's like you're not even getting a whole song. It's just part of a song. Okay. With that said, I'm like, how much did these cost? So I go on Amazon. I'm looking at this like Disney wand thing, and every single solitary review said, these are all over the parks. It's $14 on Amazon. The parks will charge you double. Get one now before you go. Your kid will be like appeased. They don't know that you didn't spend double at the park. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Side note, I didn't buy one. But we are going to be going to Disney in October on a whim. It wasn't the original plan, but now we're doing it because we have a flight credit that's, expiring. We need to take that flight. And so we're going to go visit some friends.
Gotcha.
Anyway, I digress. Disney. Why don't you rent out whatnot at the parks? And if it costs $25 to buy it, rent it for $20 for the day, And as the people are coming in, they can like pre-rent them. You can pick it up at a locker, or, you know, you can have a kiosk right when you come through the gates with a little store that you walk through, and you're like, okay, we want to rent an umbrella stroller. We want to rent a Belle dress for a toddler, and we want to rent this bubble wand. Or if you're in Tokyo, you want to rent a popcorn bucket. And I know that the idea is that Disney sells the thing and makes the money, but I don't want to be responsible for it after we leave the park.
Right.
I don't want to try to get it on an airplane after we leave. I don't want to throw it in the garbage can and feel sad that the environment is just terrible. So if you Disney, if you want to spend the same amount of money on the stuff wholesale and allocate some for purchase for $25, let's say, and some for rental for $20 for the day.
Yeah.
You can even make it, so it's job creation here. You can even make it someone's job to sanitize it and clean it and dry it at the end of the day. Please offer a thing like this for someone who wants to be supportive and also an amazing parent and not hurt the environment and also not have this junk.
100% yes. Totally agree.
Disney, get on it.
Yeah, because that stuff's just going to get tossed in the trash anyway.
Right?
It's bad for the environment.
Yeah.
It's just clutter. It's bad. And, you know, there are so many times also where it's just like, well, we don't need a bubble wand. We have one at home.
We have one at home.
Yeah. And you know that you're not going to win that fight.
Right. Or we recently secondhand a Minnie Mouse costume from a really good friend of mine who has a daughter who's about 4 years older than my daughter.
Okay.
And the Minnie Mouse costume that she wanted nothing to do with for the first, 12 months is for a 12 to 24 month old, or like an 18 to 24 month old. And my daughter is very close to being 4. So it's getting really hard to put this on her. So I said to my husband, do we buy like a replacement bigger size and swap it out so she doesn't know? And we decided, we were going to do that because friends of ours said, bring it to the park with you because they'll charge you triple for that dress if you try to buy it at the park.
Totally.
So we did it. We swapped it out. She's none the wiser. But how great would it be if you could just rent that at the park?
Yeah. And there are so many great things that are worth purchasing at the park. Souvenirs that are like, magnets or enamel pins. Like,
I was going to say, people like trade pins. I love a pin.
it's a good thing. They're small. You don't need to get all of the things there.
Right.
Yeah.
And side note, some of the things that I try to souvenir that aren't souvenirable, like I am a sucker for those Rice Krispie treat, chocolate dipped Mickey silhouette. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I mean, I've never seen them or heard of them, but I can envision it, and I'm not surprised that it exists.
You got an imagination. And it's like, I cannot pack an entire suitcase with these. And also when I have one, then I'm like, but it's my only one. So I don't want to eat it. Whereas if I buy like 3 of them, I'm like, but I have 2 more.
Yeah.
So then I get to like enjoy it. The things that are rentable, let's rent. The things that are perishable, let's enjoy.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like those little trinkets that, are special to the occasion. There you go. But also something like a bubble wand. It's like you're going to run out of bubble juice eventually. You may as well rent one and they just refill it with the bubble juice. They sanitize it, put it in some sort of wrapper. And
Disney, do you want my money or do you want me to give it to Amazon?
There you go. There you go.
I'm not going to buy it.
Yeah.
But
I actually do have an idea that is technically Disney.
Oh!
Yeah. This is my social experiment idea. And it is only Disney in the sense that I'm going to mention a Disney property as an example. All right, Louise, get this. We do a social experiment where one day we choose the exact time that it's going to happen, and then boom, suddenly we have to convince everybody that we have Freaky Friday. Because in all of those movies where there's the body swaps, there's always the moment where they have to convince somebody, like, no, it's really me. Ask me something that only I would know. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And it's just
I love it.
It's the most unreal, unbelievable kind of thing that you could possibly do. And there are so many movies where this happens. They're doing another Freaky Friday. So
Yeah. I love it.
It's just like, how easy would it be to convince somebody that you have Freaky Friday'd with somebody?
I think, depending on the people, pretty darn easy.
I think that, okay, let's say, for example, you and I, Freaky Friday, like, we decide to do this. And we, in advance, we load each other with as much information as possible about the, like, person that we're going to try to convince. And so it's just like, this person knows X, Y, and Z about me. And if I know that if I ask me something that only you and I would know about, then I could, like, key you in on it. And it could be one of three things that they would say.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
I think it would be really easy, especially, like, just the sheer, like, just outrageousness of how would you and I 3,000 miles away like have to navigate this situation. And it's like, no, I really am John, because I, like, don't know where I'm driving right now. Like, it would just be amazing. Oh, I love it. This is fun. This is fun.
What fun would that be? I mean, and then of course you have to think of, like, what the scenario would be that would cause it to happen.
Sure.
Like, we're FaceTiming and both get electrocuted at the same time or something like that. Like, I don't know.
Oh my God.
And while we're both
it.
eating a pear, something just like a weird combination of things.
And how we would get the reverse to happen.
How we would get the reverse.
Like, how do you come out of it?
Oh, how you come out of it. Yeah, that's a good point too. We have to recreate this scenario, the situation.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay, fun. Ooh, I like it. Look out, people that are close to us in our lives. We might do this.
Yeah, I mean, in Freaky Friday, at least in the original, I think that it was basically just them saying, like, I wish that you could be me for a day. And they both say it at the same time. Or, like, you know, it's something as simple as that. Whereas a lot of other ones, they make some sort of, like, culturally inappropriate, like, mystical thing happen. And, certainly there could be something like that we can figure out.
I mean, all this went over my head when I first absorbed the content, because I'm like, did that happen? Like, I'm not gaslighting you. I'm just like, wow, that part of the movie did not stick with me.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, like, that's not the fun part.
Yeah.
I think that in the original Freaky Friday, it's just something as simple as, like, at the same time they both say, like, I wish that blah, 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 blah. And then it just happens.
I have to rewatch some movies. I got some homework before we do our Freaky Friday.
Freaky Friday.
Amazing.
So on our last episode, I challenged you summer fun activities.
For introverts. Correct. I'd love to know what you came up with. Okay. They're not that exciting. But you know how during the pandemic, grocery stores would say, if you're elderly or immunocompromised, you can shop from 7 to 9 a.m. And everybody else, if you need to grocery shop, do it not at this time, because this is the specific time for this group of people. It's that, but for, like, let's call it like a mall. Like, you need to go and get a new pair of jeans or whatever, but from like 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Tuesdays and Fridays, the mall is not like a cool hang place. The mall is specifically for, like, introverts. So there's not, like, any salesperson, like, approaching you or talking. It's like, if you need, it's kind of like a silent disco mall. I like it. But just for people that, like, have sensory things, or like don't want to talk to people and don't want to have to explain why they don't want to talk to people.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, another is, and this is just because like I am a Swiftie, and was trying to think like that's like a thing that you do on your own, and it's not necessarily that introverts can't do those things at regular times. It's then you just need to be mindful to like recharge your social battery after you do that. So that was sort of like to make a thing out in the world less draining than it maybe normally would be. This would be like a get together on purpose, but for introverts. And it's like, you would make bracelets.
Okay.
But it's like silently. But, or like as an example, like with a Taylor Swift album on, so you could like go to a place where the interest is shared, but maybe not have to be like, what's your favorite song? What's your favorite album? It's just you're doing a thing together.
Yeah.
As like a mingling activity with like no
Pressure.
expectation to actually mingle.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and also, geez, did we do this on another episode? I feel like we talked about this in context of something different, but social situations work the same. If this isn't already what we talked about, but like how at Brazilian like steakhouses, there's like the thing that you put on the table, which is like the red or the green, which is like the green is like bring me more. Did we talk about that on another one?
We must have, because it's so familiar to me.
Yeah. So it's like, but you have those and you just say like, okay, I have a little room in my like social battery that I can fill up. I can, turn that over. And then if somebody does want to like chat with me, they can. And then once that interaction is over, flip it back over and then move on. Yeah. Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. Another idea that like I didn't bank for this reason, but it ties in. It's like paper bag events where, so recently at a Mets game, I'm trying to think if it was, I think it was in Chicago, so it must have been the White Sox, but they had like a couple fans punch holes out of a paper bag and like make a mouth and wear them. And one group did it on a bag that like had writing on it. And the other group did it on a bag that was just like a regular brown paper bag. And they were like, sort of poking fun at the person. Like, why would you pick that bag? It's so distracting, this, that, and the other. And anyway, it's sort of like anonymous get-togethers where you can like have a shared experience but not have to interact with anybody because you like have a paper bag on your head. I was trying to think of a way to like, what's a summer thing people do? You go and you watch movies outside on a big projector screen or like a drive-in type thing. Or you go to a local pool, because I like swimming, but I definitely don't want anybody I know to see me and then therefore come up and talk to me.
Right.
But like it was fun. It was the most fun part of the pandemic, being anonymous.
Yeah.
A lot of the times.
I agree.
And you can't really wear a paper bag around to like a swimming pool because that would be weird. But it's always a weird line to be an introvert and want to be social.
Yeah.
Because it can go from like kind of enjoyable to very overwhelming real fast.
Yeah, totally.
So that's kind of all I thought was like mall walking and
I like it.
Library-ish activities, sewing club, I don't know.
Yeah, I like mall walking. That's fun. As you were describing the bracelet making scenario and being a Swiftie, it gave me a little flash idea.
Ooh, flash idea.
Flash idea alert. And I see a lot of like social media videos of these people at Taylor Swift concerts who like they get their one-on-one Taylor Swift moment where like Taylor acknowledges them and like I know there's one thing where she gives people like a hat or something like that. That's like a thing. And for that person, it's going to be something they remember for their entire lives. like this one-on-one interaction that they had with like the most famous person on the planet. And this is a strange one. So what I'm envisioning is a Taylor Swift. This could only really work with Taylor Swift because this is the only person that like everybody just wants to have their like one-on-one moment with. And, you know, she's somebody who's like a completely non-threatening, no ulterior motive type of person where you know that she's just in it because she loves the fans and she loves doing it. So it is a concert, but the way that it works is instead of people just kind of like sitting in seats or being like stuck in one area, it's essentially just like a series of like stanchions, so that, you know, kind of like you're at the bank and you're kind of going through and everybody moves through. And then at the stage, it's like a people mover conveyor belt, like airport thing where you stand on it and like you move, you know, from one side to the next. And so everybody passes by the stage and they get their one-on-one Taylor moment. I mean, maybe, hopefully she can make eye contact. I'm sure it's exhausting for her, but, you know, all the while you're still experiencing the full concert, but everybody gets their moment. And granted, a lot of people go to these shows. They'd have to be really long shows.
They'd have to be, I mean, they are really long.
Yeah.
As it stands, isn't it like a 3.5 hour long
actual
probably. Concert?
Yeah. But I mean, 3.5 hours, you could probably move people through within that amount of time. You know, and the conveyor belt people mover will like pause during like costume changes and whatever else needs to happen. But and certainly there'd be people stationed throughout to like control the crowd and keep things moving and, you know, not interrupt the flow of the show. But that was just a little flash idea I had as you're
flash
talking
idea.
about that.
I'm on board. I love it. It sounds like intimate and like fun, and I'm envisioning like not quite like a stadium-esque concert, but more like a cabaret. But instead of it being like you sit at tiny tables and eat your little drink, it's like legit a people mover at an airport, and the person's just on a little stage, and that's like the time you get, but it's like being beamed to like the other rooms.
Right.
So you can still experience, oh my gosh, like to be. Also, it's like another thing if you're at a concert and you're like 6th row, general admission near the stage, or if you're like nosebleeds, like only looking at the screen because the person themselves is just such a tiny person at the stadium. For you to like be in the same room, it's like the Beatles, man.
Yeah.
Like people are crying. Oh
yeah. Well, also it's like, let's say you're in an arena, you know, you're in like something that's normally a basketball court. You know, you could have your seats and maybe you don't want to have that one-on-one moment, or you can be on the floor paying more and getting this different type of concert experience.
It's kind of fun and cool.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm excited to see where life goes.
So you challenged me to sunscreen/protection.
Okay. Yeah, I did.
All right. So I have a couple of things. I did it Louise style. I got 2 things.
Okay.
One of them is basically just the universal decision to call sweet potato fries SPFs. That's just my quick little one. But
I love it.
You know, going more to, which by the way, are people still really doing sweet potato fries? I hope so, because they're delicious.
They're delicious.
Yeah.
And they are.
They got really popular and then you kind of stopped seeing them at most places. Anyway, but my like actual sunscreen/protection idea, there are 2 different ways that you can do this. So for me, the process of applying sunscreen to me is just like, it's like, oh yeah, something else I have to do. I am a gentleman that is covered in a layer of fur. That is just how I'm built. And so applying a lotion is just nasty and weird. I've got the sprays, but they all smell really strange. And there's some sort of component that's just making it nasty. And whenever I'm wearing sunscreen, it's just like, I'm so aware of it. And I know that you're always supposed to be wearing sunscreen, So it's just like, why can't we make this a better experience? And so I have two different methods of applying sunscreen that I thought would be worthwhile for somebody like me who has a hard time administering it. So in both cases, there's a puck, like a hard puck of like concentrated sunscreen. And in one case, it goes into an attachment on your shower head. So after you have cleaned yourself and showered, while you're still in there, you attach the thing with the puck and it sprays the sunscreen on you. And then you turn it off, and it's not like it's a full blast of just like liquid sunscreen. Like it, does what it needs to do.
Yeah.
The other situation, which I think is maybe even better, is an attachment that you put on a blow dryer. So it is maybe a less dense puck, but the blow dryer, it passes through and it kind of gets everything. So it's like you're fresh out of the shower or the bath. You're still damp. So like it mists onto your body and like kind of clings on to like your damp skin.
Cool.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
I like it.
That's what I got.
It's so futuristic, Jetsons, like walk into a thing.
But it's also very lo-fi.
Yeah.
It's using stuff we already have.
DIY. Yeah.
DIY, do yourself it.
DIY.
There we go.
Wait, did I say DIY?
I think so.
Huh. I wonder how many times in life I feel like I say a thing that's totally normal and nobody calls me out on it and it's not normal at all.
Oh, and I'm sure it happens to me every day. If I'm around another person, it's happening.
Yeah. That's amazing.
So anyway, that's what I got. That's what I got.
Okay.
Do you have a challenge for me for our next episode?
I do.
Mm-hmm.
Kids and bicycles.
Kids and bicycles. All right, writing it down. Kids.
You can use that however you want. Like, I don't want to, it's not about like riding bicycles or teaching somebody how to ride, but kids and bicycles.
Kids and bicycles. Okay. So, I like that. Right now it's the start of a school year. You see a lot of kids going to school, riding their bikes to school. I like that. I am going to actually, this is something I thought about this morning on my way to go get coffee, and it works really well with that, and it's crossing guards.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
I live a block away from an elementary school, so there's a lot of activity that I hadn't seen in the past few months. So
okay, crossing guards.
Yeah.
I dig it.
Yeah.
I dig it.
I
Okay,
dig it too.
this is going to be a fun next time. I can tell already.
If you all have a great idea you'd like to share with us, email us greatideapod@gmail.com or send a text or a voicemail to 304-804-IDEA. I believe it's 4332, 304-804-4332. That sounds about right.
That sounds about right.
We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to check out Apple Podcasts to leave us a review and rate us. We'd really appreciate that.
We'd love it.
We'd love it. These are also, on Spotify and what have you. So check it out. Thank you for listening to us. And Louise, thanks for hanging out with me.
Thanks for hanging out with me.
I don't see it happening.